How you doing there, my dear friends? It's Dan. Good to see you. I'm live in beautiful, beautiful Oak Lawn, Illinois. You know, I've been reminded by some things that have been going on, particularly one big story in our news media the past week or so, that we live in a culture in which we want morality. I know some people would say, duh, of course we do. But again, I've sort of been reminded of this recently. There are times in which it's virtually impossible to live in any kind of a civil manner. It's impossible to live without chaos unless we're going to acknowledge that, hey, there are some things that are right and there are some things that are wrong. That's how it works in our world. Lately, I've been seeing people in discussions on secular TV shows, like not Christian shows, secular shows, talking about the need for morality. All of a sudden, it's morals and training young people in morality. I heard somebody in a panel discussion on a television show. I think this was just yesterday, and he was talking about the need for more conversation about morality, and he was talking in reference to what has happened recently in American culture with this big time movie producer, and he was saying, young boys we need to start teaching them about moral things when they're young. And I agree, but I think a lot of times we want morality and discussions about morality without any references to God. We sort of want to keep God out of it. We don't want the involvement of God sometimes. And I understand that it's going to be positioned that way in our culture. Believe me, I know. I'm not a little boy anymore. I've been around long enough to know that that's how people are going to want it. Some people are going to want to go about that type of discussion. I know. But we run into a problem. We run it. The problem. If we're going to leave God out of it, the problem could be expressed with this question. Then, okay, according to whom? Says who? All right, we're going to discuss morality. Great. Who gets to decide what's morally right and what's morally wrong? Who decides? See, what I'm saying is, if there is no God in the discussion, then morality, any morality that we discuss is by definition, it's subjective, not objective. It's subjective. In other words, it depends on people's opinions. It depends on people's feelings. And friends, let's be honest, that leaves a whole lot of room for various interpretations and a wide range of perspectives. That leaves a lot of room for somebody to say, hey, you may not like it, but what I did was morally right for me. And, I'll remind you, there have been societies, not just individuals, there have been societies that, based on people's opinions, they determined that it's morally permissible to do things like wipe out entire ethnic groups. Subjective morality. Now, the only way to have objective, not subjective now the only way to have objective morality, in other words, moral values which are true, right and wrong, that's true independent of people's opinions or people's feelings, is if there is some higher source of moral authority, something higher than people's opinions. You might say the only way for that is if there's some kind of a moral lawgiver. Who might that be? Of course, that would be God, right? I mean, who else would you have in mind? I know. Oh, no. I know what some of you are going to write in the comments section. I know. If you bring God into the discussion, that brings its own set of arguments and frustrations and disagreements. I get it. I know that. But all I'm saying is trying to talk about morality without making any reference at all to the source of morality makes the resulting moral values less persuasive, less binding, less compelling.